Ladies and gents, today we're going to look at 4 ways to torture the narcissist. Number 1, and probably the most powerful one, this is the basis for everything else I'm going to be able to teach you today, is you must reduce the narcissist's significance in your life. Do not fake this. Do not act as though they are no longer as significant as they used to be. Make them less significant than they used to be. If you want to create distress, if you want to create anguish, uncertainty, insecurity, and paranoia, you must reduce their significance. Don't fake it because they're smart in terms of detecting other people's emotional states. They have no capacity to detect their own emotional states, no capacity to self-reflect, or very little capacity, but they can map other human beings frighteningly well. If you genuinely do this, you won't need to put on an act. They'll feel it, they'll know it, and it will drive them insane with anguish because the whole superstructure of their personality is in being significant to everybody, but particularly to their targets. So reduce their significance. What does that mean? It means that even inside of the relationship, you need to let go of being with them. If it's your mother or father, you've got to grieve the fact that you never had and never will have a mother or father. Grieve, cry, go to therapy, feel sad, write poetry, whatever you need to do. And in the end, you won't be attached to them being a good mother or father. You'll have let it go and you'll have reduced their significance. If it's a romantic relationship, grieve, cry, go to therapy, let it go, drop the idea they're ever going to be a husband, a wife, a father, a mother. They're not. Despair, grieve, and let it go. You will reduce their significance. That's step number 1. Step number 2, the second piece of advice I've got for you, the second method for torturing a narcissist would be to challenge their narcissistic idealized self. If you can challenge, deride, mock, and devalue their false self, which is their idealized, fantastical, delusional story of how wonderful, sexy, powerful, intelligent, rich, whatever they are, if you can find ways of poking holes in that from a position of reduced significance, they're in a state of reduced significance for you, so you're pretty indifferent, you're pretty cold, you're pretty detached, and you just gently suggest to them that their false self, once you've figured out and you've mapped exactly what the paradigms of that false self are, once you've mapped that and you slowly, subtly over time challenge that, you will send them into an absolute blind fury because this creates a massive amount of narcissistic injury. Obviously, with everything I'm telling you here today, you need to make sure as a sovereign adult that you are safe when you do this, that you're dealing with a narcissist, not a psychopath, and that the power dynamic of the relationship doesn't mean that, for example, they can take custody of your kids, kick you out of a house, drop you from a job, drop you from a team, or dump you. You need to be smart before trying to do any of this, because if you inflict narcissistic injury and they go into a narcissistic rage, their response will be disproportionate. They will pursue you to punish you for having inflicted this narcissistic injury against them. I'm just showing you how to create mental anguish in somebody with narcissistic personality disorder. What you do with this information is on you. Map their false self, map the specific paradigms of the false self, feed it back to them, and then gently, you don't have to be bold. It's better to do it the way they do it, in an insidious, cold, maybe even mocking or sneering way. Challenge those elements of the false self, which is what the things that they're most insecure about, because secretly inside they know that the false self is false, and you will create a massive amount of mental anguish in them.